and welcome to Dysfunctional Dialogue. I am your host, John McParland, and with me are three very, very special guests, Bill, Jeff, and Tim.
Well, John, I'm back twice in 24 hours here. I mean, good to see you again.
Is it 24 hours?
Well, it's probably 28 hours.
Wow. I hope he pays you well.
Yesterday at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's the payment comes in laughs.
I see.
That actually he provides, and I just laugh.
Stress reduction, yes.
So Bill did send me that list of the bracket, though.
Oh, the bracketology.
The bracketology that we did. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
There's definitely notable misses in here, though.
Well,
thanks, John. I'm so glad I sent it to you so you would spend a few minutes criticizing it.
What do you want from me? I mean, of course.
I was on it.
You guys did the job versus quick. You had me going all the way to the freaking file, you son of a bitches. You all ganged up on me.
Well, if it wasn't for the cake fight, that would have been number one.
There's classics in here. The list is incredible. The Tim loses his car, that's a much bigger story than that one. That's the sophomore semi-formal. That was an epic time.
Tim runs over a baby was a pretty good one, too.
All right, so allow me then, because, you know, if I do end up posting this thing, that will probably be on it, but I can't just encapsulate it with just that. Oh, Tim's running over a baby. That was a good one.
Yeah.
What else needs to be said?
Well, I'll say it.
Okay.
I did it.
So Jeff and I were coming back after a very late night, and of course it was different times back then. Now Jeff and I actually got dropped off, but well, Tim maybe not the most responsible person in the world that night. Tim, what do you say?
Yeah,
a little bit inebriated.
It was pre-Uber. There were no Ubers.
That's right.
No Uber. It was college. These were all my college buddies. And so Tim came home with his girl, his now wife, and parked the car. Perfectly fine, did his job, went upstairs, probably did his job there, and nods his head. And then Jeff and I come home a little bit later, and I guess one of us got the idea. We happened to see like a little doll, little kid's doll. It was all beaten up at gutter side, and we took it and we applied a bunch of ketchup to it, and we wedged it under the tire. And when you and Michelle came out the next morning, do you remember how she reacted, Tim?
Honestly, I don't. I don't know if I saw it at the first moment. I didn't notice it.
The story that I recollect is that she freaked out. That she saw that there was a little baby underneath the tire and freaked out. Yeah. Now, that might be just what we were thinking about the night before. Like, this will be so funny. Michelle will come out. She'll freak out, and that's...
Right.
You know, I could be conflating it. But you're right, Bill. That's a pretty going down.
Oh.
Now, that was a good exercise doing the list. It was. Because
great.
At least we have that to go back to and remember some of those events. So
yeah.
You know this.
I think there's 64 of them on there.
Yeah.
What was that, Tim?
It was mostly freshman, sophomore years, I would think, versus junior, senior. Would you agree?
No.
No.
I completely and utterly disagree with that.
No, I definitely.
That's a piece of shit list. Whatever you.
Yeah, Bill, what are you sending this crap to us for?
Let's redo it. Scratch it.
Well, it would be interesting to redo this with like a play-in list, like a 32-story play-in to play in for the 64th. Because there are other stories here, obviously, and it would be fun to see what people could pull out.
I still have the original list. Yeah.
Well, so do I. I sent it to John, and he's shitting all over it now. You know, this list is fine, but we should come up with 32 more. You know,
we should. We got a lot more.
There's more stories than this.
It's a weak list.
Why would you even do this? You know, there's more stories than this. You left a whole bunch out.
Yeah, Bill, you suck, is what I'm trying to say.
It's not you're trying to say it. You did say it.
Well, now I'm actually putting it in the actual words.
I was going to say, to get 32 additional stories, it's going to start getting diluted down to where the stories are marginal. You know what I mean? And I guess this was to try to get to the top 64 and then down to one.
Yes.
I mean,
certainly, but I'm sure there's other epic ones in there.
Well, why don't you work on that and send us the list? John, you put it together and send it to us.
Why? Then you could shit all over it again, Bill?
Pretty much.
That's all you do. You just shit on this stuff.
I'll be happy to join on another episode of Dysfunctional Dialogues to look at your list of watered down, irrelevant 32.
Like I don't see falling down when you're throwing shot put on this list.
That's not a story because
No, that's a story.
No, I'd put that Rick writing his name on his underwear. I mean, at some point, it's no longer.
But that was fucking funny as hell, man. So we took his underwear and we had a cassette tape line, cassette tape, and we strung it to a tree all the way halfway out from O'Shea, from the second. And then we strung his underwear out onto the line, and it was floating mysteriously in the dark. This underwear, and he came home. He's like, "Where's my underwear?" And I think Espo was like, "Oh, it's out over there, floating in the wind."
At least it was labeled.
Your Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's not on here, is it?
No.
Yeah, Mare. We got Mare was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Bill and I talked about that one yesterday. That was the Christmas lights one.
yeah. I wasn't there for it, so
Yeah.
I never would have put it on the list. See, and now we're up to 2: underwear and Merritt. So you only got 30 more, John.
All right.
Yeah.
So how about so freshman year? Okay, Tim. Here's a freshman year story.
Most of these are from freshman year.
Yeah. So Bill. That's what I'm saying, right? So Jeff and Tim will both remember this one. So we would, I forget how, but we had like gotten some free way to make phone calls. So Eric and others would call up and call like a 900 number and then record the porno line. So you have like a woman orgasming and saying all of these dirty things, and he recorded it, and then he put his speakers. Eric did. Remember, he had those giant speakers, and it was time for the girls to go from the girls' dorm to the cafeteria. He faced the speakers out, and then played the porn sounds. As neither one of you guys remember that, Jeff and Tim?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Tim, you don't remember that? No, that was.
What was it?
Speakers, but it was friggin' 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
A couple days.
Just a couple.
Bill, you getting some paperwork done over there?
I am. Yep. Figure I'd do my taxes while we're doing this.
He wanted to do something fun tonight.
You know, I got to pay my fourth quarter estimated taxes tomorrow, so I'm working on that now.
Well, they're not doing. Don't scare the hell out of me.
Tim's like, tomorrow? Gotta go.
15. Now you have a mark.
Jeff, so one of the things that kind of become like a running theme on here, and certainly when we were in college, we had enough of these kids are stupid stories, right? How about before college? Or what's one of the most stupid things that you and or your friends did out and about in your neighborhood?
We used to shoot arrows with a bow and arrow, shoot it straight up in the air and try to catch it when it comes down.
With your teeth?
Past it and catch the arrow as it went past you.
You didn't catch it with your teeth?
No. Nobody got, like, severely injured.
Did you ever
You
catch
didn't know one got severely injured?
Yeah, no one was severely injured with it.
But partially a little bit, like someone got in their foot or their hand?
Yeah, they're target point arrows, so it wasn't going to really
Oh,
cut you that bad.
all right.
So it's not like in college, like stapling each other or throwing darts at the person by the dartboard?
No.
That kind of danger?
Yeah, it's probably the dartboard type danger, but not as dangerous as stapling.
I don't know
So,
if
Tim, I'm thinking that something. What's that, Tim?
I was going to say, did stapling make the list or not? Because that might be our third one tonight. Oh, it
Bill
did.
says it's on the list, so it must be there.
Stapling is on the list.
I was just talking to Steve about it, and he brought up that we should get together and staple each other. So I thought that was a nice thought.
I just remember people running out of the apartment. And I don't know why they were running.
That could have been a second. The original stapling event on the second floor.
Yep.
If I'm not,
That's where
whoever was in that room, and we stapled somebody there. But I thought it was in O'Shea. Yeah, the
it
original.
started in O'Shea.
Yep.
Well, I forget what room we were in, but I had left you guys. I had not participated in this table. Once we got there, I'm like, this might be a good time to end the night. You guys were like hitting each other or hitting yourselves, hitting each other in the hand, and having a competition how much blood would pool up in your palms, and
Stapled their pants to their leg.
they stapled their pants to their leg. I mean, look, it's good, wholesome fun, right? And I went back to my room, and like a moron, probably drunk moron, I never locked my door, and of course you guys come in to the room. And like out of a movie, there was a little bit of light from like a street light or something like that was coming through the shades. And I just happened at the last second to open up my eyes, and I see this glint of light shining off of the stapler as it comes down and wails me. Friendship. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
John, remember in O'Shea with the fireworks when you and I tried to throw them out the window?
Wait, is that the room warming party?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the RA Brian and I live next door. What's that, Jeff?
It was a jumping jack firework too.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeff, that's on the list also.
That was Brian and I for the first semester lived next door to the RA, and we would be moving furniture at like 3:00 in the morning. We had that one fight in that one room over there, and then the first of three, and it was always just loud. And we were right next door to him. So when someone moved out at the very end of the hall, the RA approaches right before the beginning of the second semester. It's like, hey, I got a room for you guys down the hall. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to have a room warming party. Brian couldn't join. He had to do something with Jen. I guess they were having something was going on with them. And so while Brian was out, there were like 10 of us in that room or something like that. And we were drinking and having a good old time. And it was a lot for a dorm room. It was pretty crowded in there. Yeah. And the beer ball came out. Brian had a beer ball that he used for, I guess he put all his old change in it.
And
the old beer balls. He put his change in it. And we were shooting bottle rockets out the window for a little while, and then the jumping jacks inside the beer ball, and it just, I guess we didn't account for the fact that fire will melt plastic and burn up.
Burn down a building.
It was on fire, this beer ball. So someone picked it up and just threw it out the window. Smoke was everywhere. And of course, no alarms are going off. Like, what the hell? What kind of place was that where we're living, where you have smoke all over the place and no alarms anywhere? Brian comes back. The room is trashed. I think we threw some water on.
Before that, whenever everybody had left the room, and just you and I were in there, everybody was out on the front lawn, and we tried throwing a jumping jack out the window, and the lights were completely off in the room. And the firework hit the windowsill and bounced back in the room, and it was just going off. And all they could see is our silhouettes of us jumping out of the
way. Yeah, that's good stuff. And Brian comes back, and he had some very classic words that night that were very true, but funny nonetheless. I have the right to be mad. Do you remember? He said it over and over and over again, and that was our second fight. That was fight number 2. I got the right to be mad, and he did. He did.
What was the fight on the camping trip about?
He wouldn't suck my ass.
That's true.
I don't remember what it was about, but what I do remember about that was my brother Jim, who was looking for some firewood. And Brian and I are about to fight, but we're holding off. And then finally, I said those magic words. As soon as I said, suck my ass, for some reason, that really triggered him. I don't know why. I'm not going to ask. A little curious, but I'm not going to ask. Started having the fisticuffs, and Jim comes running out of the woods, and then kind of breaks it up. He goes back out, and then like he's back into the woods again. And I was like, suck my ass. Brian comes at me again. We're 3 different times. Each time Jim was in the woods, he had to come out and try to stop us. You guys weren't going to stop us. You were amused.
Right.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
We lit Brian's hat on fire.
Yeah. See, that didn't make the list here. That was a good one.
Yes, Brian's hat on fire is on the list.
Get the fuck out of here.
So was the suck my ass fight.
Thinking about the Brian kicking the lighter fluid?
No, I'm positive that's on the list as well.
It's a big list.
Memorize this list.
He's memorized. There's no test. There's no test, Bill. Well, Jeff, go back.
No, Bill came prepared.
I wanted to
I
go
printed
back.
it out. Bill's like, no, this is the list. You can give us the brackets. He can say who won.
Yeah, there was the Mount Eagle bracket, the Cheers bracket, the camping trip bracket, and the McHughes bracket.
Of
The
course.
regionals.
Hey, Jeff, you can help me on this one, though. With that stapler night, because Steve reminded me, I wanted to double check. He thinks he was there because he participated, but it was when we borrowed some items from someone's office under Gallagher, the fan, the bag of popcorn, the stapler, and the calculator that printed in red. We took all that stuff and we brought it back to O'Shea, and that's what led to the staple fight. It led to Brian printing in red. It led to a bunch of things. So that was a hell of a night. And I don't know what.
That was a hell of a night. Well, don't forget, I got the key for the school, and I gave it to Eric, who made a tinfoil impression and had the master key for the school made.
That's right. That's right.
And don't forget, the Brian Prince in red ink is on the list also.
We could get into watch HBO in the common area at the bottom of O'Shea.
Ah, that's what it was.
And then Dan got that key, so he was able to get in and senior year, right? And that's a classic story that's not on here, nor should it be, because it's not amongst all of us. But Bill, your story where you and Dan were exchanging a quarter, right?
Yeah, I still have it.
He looks down; he's right there by his taxes. He's claiming it this year.
Yeah, oh, that's my Schedule A. Hang on.
You got to put that as a gift.
I got it. I still have that quarter. I thought it was here. It might be upstairs in my bedroom.
What's that, Tim?
What was it from?
I still have that quarter.
From what, though? I
Just
don't know if I
quarter?
know that.
So, Bill, you got to tell the story in full because I love this story.
There's a quarter with a hole punched in it, and Dan and I, whenever we go home on the breaks, somehow we would. It was Tim. It was the equivalent of the piece of the bicycle seat from the weight room.
Right.
Remember how we would like jam that into each other's car and luggage and.
Yes.
Do you still have it, or do I have it? I don't even remember how that ended.
I believe I have it.
Okay. Well, Dan and I had something similar with the quarter. And at graduation, he arranged to have it taped inside of my diploma.
Oh, okay.
So when I walked across the stage and got the folder with your diploma in it, I opened it up and there was the quarter with the note, "You lose."
I see.
Because I got it last.
Why'd it have a hole in it?
I don't remember how the hole got in it or who punched the hole in it. But I still have that quarter somewhere.
And pulled it back out of a machine. Was it to like get free washing or something?
I don't know.
Oh.
It might be.
Yeah.
He might have tied a string through it so he could put it in the washing machine and pull it back out. I have no idea.
So, speaking of cleaning clothes, do you remember what we would do freshman year in the laundry room?
Asbestos tiles.
The asbestos tiles. That's right. I actually had gotten that idea from my sister when we were little kids. She would do that and make those in order to get some Coca-Colas out of the machine at the local dry cleaner up the block. They had a machine there, and she would put those in. So yeah, we go up there and we would steal the tiles right from the washroom, and we bring them all back, and we had like an assembly line. We were clipping out quarter shapes out of the tiles, which are the perfect width of a quarter, and then we would go back there with laundry time, and then just plow these machines filled with tile quarters. And they must have been like unloading these machines and looking down and seeing, well, we're missing tiles. And we got a lot of tile quarters. And this went on for a long time. We like, let's just play this hand out.
Yeah, the helper was like, I found the tiles we're missing. Somebody put them in the machine.
That's not on the list. That's a 32 playing.
It's on the what do you call it? You said play-in or something like that. It made the list to play.
Yeah,
into
the play-in game.
Playing games. That's a
Yeah.
plan.
What about some of the stuff in the cafeteria?
Remember the butter patties? It was like throwing ninja stars. They stuck to the windows. They stuck to everything.
Right, and also we would put them on the bottom of glasses and then wedge them underneath the table, and they would be
Underneath the
time
seat.
bombs.
Underneath the seat, and when somebody sat on it, their butt would warm the seat up enough and break the glass. That was
Hey,
fun.
Bill, call
Yeah,
the number.
that's a pretty good prices, huh, Bill?
I remember taking a bun and I hollowed it out and filled it completely full with black pepper, then put it back.
Did you really? Oh,
I don't know if
what's that?
I don't know if everybody got it. Or sticking the apples in the glasses.
Stick it. Yeah, you wedge them in the glass so the person behind that had to clean it out. It was a nightmare. They had to throw it. Do you remember when I worked there for like that 2 or 3 days in the back by the washroom
Yeah.
in the cafeteria?
Yeah.
You guys beat the shit out of me. So I was there taking the trays in, and you guys saw I was there. So you were just pushing the trays in and whipping shit at me in there. I'm like dodging around. Yeah, that didn't last long. I wasn't going to stay there. So, Bill, a half a tray of pizza for $4. Emily's Pizza. I mean, even back then, that was exceptional pricing.
It was.
How much are those wings, Bill? How much is 50 wings? I can't see it. You got to just turn around and tell me.
$6.75.
For 50 wings?
I think so. Well, shit. Chop and I had nickels, right? Dime? Maybe they were a dime. I know they were relatively cheap.
Yeah, it was always 10-cent wings was a regular thing up there back when we were in school.
10-cent ones.
Jeff, remember the contest we entered? Tim, do you remember the story of me and Jeff entering a chicken wing eating contest?
The Cheers.
On campus?
I think it was at the bar.
It was a Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So everyone was all in. You didn't have to pay a penny to enter the contest, and the winners got like a nice prize, probably 20, 30 bucks maybe or something. But Jeff and I are sitting next to each other, and we had our strategy to win this. And by far, Jeff, we were the co-champions of that contest because they said 1, 2, 3, go! Everyone just dove in. Me and Jeff were.
We just wanted the wings.
It was a dinner for us. We had free dinner. We had a plate of wings. Thanks, guys.
Dip them in.
Yeah, and the best was when we had Gary for a roommate, and he made the hamburgers after he cooked the chopped meat. He cooked the chopped meat after it was cooked, and then he tried forming it into a
I
pan.
didn't know who was going to film the patties.
Yes, and then Jeff convinced him he bought a left-handed tie.
I love that story. Jeff, walk us through that one, Jeff. I love this.
Gary was a graduate assistant. He lived with us, and at away games, he'd have to wear a suit. And he grew up as a mama's boy, never tied a tie. So he asked me to help him tie his tie. And I convinced him I couldn't because it was a left-handed tie because the wide side of the tie was on the left-hand side. And he was pissed off that those people at the store where he just bought it didn't ask him if he was left-handed.
You can't tie this. It's a left-handed tie. Look, the right side is on the left side.
You're left-handed, right? He says, yeah. He said, well, it's a left-handed tie. He's like, how do you tell? I said, well, the right side's on the left. And he's like, you got to be shitting me. Those people at the store told me this tie was going to be fine.
I love that you did that, and there was no audience. It was just you and him, and you were fucking with him.
and deadpan, didn't crack a smile.
No, but you took care of it. You're like, you know what? Let me go see. I know I have some right-handed ties. I'll get you one.
I got one just like this one. Watch this. I'll be right back.
Oh my god.
Same exact tie, huh?
Yeah, out of it. I mean, how often do you have the same tie?
So he did that with the tie. He did that with the chopped meat, and then he made Kool-Aid and didn't add sugar. He just poured the packet in with the water. I think something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys like, what the hell is this? What did you do? I made Kool-Aid for you guys.
Yeah, because he wouldn't cook, he wouldn't clean up. So we started to force him to do shit, or we wouldn't do anything for him.
Yeah.
Because, like Jeff said, it's people had been doing for him his whole life, so he never did anything on his own.
Right, right.
Yeah, Chris and I used to barbecue outside when Chris was living with us, and we used to take Kool-Aid and whatever we had to drink in the house and mix it with it. Tell you, the worst one was, for a while, I had blue Kool-Aid and tequila.
Oh, no.
It's awful. It is awful. And we made a quantity of it, so we had...
Oops. Oh, no, that's terrible, dude.
It was awful.
It was. Ugh.
So speaking of cheap alcohol, Jeff, how about the when we bought the no brand beer? we took out half of the bottles, and it was the cases that had the little holes on both sides of the very top of the all cardboard case that came across the top, and you have these two little holes there, so you can see which bottle is in it. And we bought it. And we're like, you know what? We're not going to have all no brand, right? But we'll pay no brand price. And we opened it up and we took half of a Budweiser case and dumped that in there, and then took our no brand extras there and put it in a Budweiser case. Like, all right, well, that's going to have to be somebody else's problem. We bought that. We had ourselves a good night. And Jeff, I don't think a month went by, and we all but forgot about that. And we go back into that same supermarket, and we happen to be a little more flush, so we decided to buy the Budweiser. And everyone else that had gone to that supermarket checked inside the cases, except for the guys that did. And we fucking bought that same damn case. Karma came back at us whiplash like a bitch. That was so funny.
That's good stuff.
What's that, Bill?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Bill's like, I wasn't there for that one. I can't say anything.
It's not on the list.
Exactly. Put it on the play-in story.
Playing. We're up to 5.
25 to go. There you go.
We're getting there. What's the mic in the stream? Oh, is that what he passed out?
Yeah, we put him in the stream. Yes. That's the stream.
There was just as much prequel and sequel stories to these stories. That's what it's hard to capture. There's stuff that leads up to these stories, and there was stuff that happened after these stories.
Yep.
You can only capture so much. So I think the list is pretty good. Yeah.
It is because it
I just like
what's that?
I like pecking on Bill. This is fun.
Yeah, that's true. This list sucks, Bill.
I agree with Tim. There's so much lead in. A lot of the stuff that's not on there is leading into the stuff that is on there.
Right.
And there's stuff that were aftermath from the stuff that's on there. It was a whole other story that's not on there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at with Tim loses his car. That was sophomore semi-formal. I mean, it was so much that happened that night and the next day.
Of course. Right. But that highlights it.
That
reminds you what did happen up to that point. We found the car. It wasn't like it was gone forever. I mean, Canada's not that big. So.
Right.
Piece of cake.
And you had your tapes.
Yeah, I had your tapes. Yes.
Jeff, remember going into Tim's room that next morning? Do you remember what he looked like?
I thought it was like a Roman toga or something like that.
He had a sheet wrapped around his head, and he was like all naked except for like I think a pair of tidy whities, and a sheet wrapped around his head. Like that's how he was.
Like an attempted suicide or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was the night where, was it, Tim, that your friends drew on you and you drove across the Grand Island Bridge with makeup on? What night was that?
That was somebody who was stupid enough to come back to the apartment.
Right. Yeah.
And the toll taker at the Grand Island Bridge?
Yeah, what was his reaction, Tim? Because you didn't even know that you had this on you at the time.
I had no idea. But honestly, I don't think I even noticed if they had a reaction. Because I didn't even know I still had it on me. You know, the various pictures.
Yeah, it wasn't until I remember you saying it wasn't until you actually got into your bathroom that
That's
you had seen
I remember his
the
forehead and yeah.
that you were a mess.
Well, Brian had to wait for Jen to tell him his face was painted.
Oh, really? That night that we
Yeah.
painted on his eyeballs? That time?
Yeah.
No shit.
Wow.
Jen's the one that told him about it.
That's amazing. And he was really decorated.
It was a Cheers.